All right, now it is the new moon in Taurus, and I'm doing something a little different tonight. Okay, first of all, my hands is ashy, child. Okay, I gotta fix that before I start. Okay, let's moisturize these hands, my lord. Let's get it on. I'm waiting for y'all to come in before I start. And I figured that I do a live talking about sinners. So I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a tarot live. My tarot live will be on TikTok after this for the new moon in Taurus. So stick around for that. Follow me on TikTok at the Bronx Bruja. Okay, follow me on TikTok, because that's where I do a lot of my readings, mostly daily. But this week for the new moon in Taurus, I really wanted to dive into a lot of the significance in the movie Sinners, the spiritual significance, our everyday lifestyle significance, and how it still relates to this day. There's so much to unpack with this movie, and I really don't want to spend too much time doing this. But I wrote down some things, okay, that I wanted to talk about. And I know there's some things that I haven't written down that's going to be coming through um, a form of a channel. Okay, I already know it. Peace, beloved. So this is a spoiler alert, which means I am talking about specific scenes in the movie Sinners. I'm going to wait another minute or two before I start, my own personal view of the movie. Okay, if you haven't seen it, you might want to get the fuck out of here. You might want to get the fuck out of here, okay, because I don't want to spoil it for you, especially if you want to see it. Now, if you don't care and you just want to you want to join and you want to hear and possibly be inspired to go see the movie, then great. But if you want to see this movie, you might want to get the fuck off this live, okay? You have it, but you staying, okay? Okay, I respect it. I'm telling you, it's going to be some spoilers in here. Now, before I get started, okay, I'm just going to do my regular. All praises due to the Most High. I'm protected and guided by the divine. No weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up against me in judgment shall be condemned. Ashe. Now, I will be doing a new moon in Taurus collective reading on TikTok after this. This is something new. This is something different. Okay, I'm a big cinema fanatic. I love film and I also love music, which is why this movie hit so hard. It hit hard. Okay? Because it also, those of you who are on a spiritual journey, okay, some of you could be, I have clients who are not quite sure which direction they should go when it comes to communing with the Most High God in spirits, okay? Some people believe that conjuring our ancestors is demonic. They are not really our ancestors that's speaking with us, but demons. This is what Christian faith people believe, okay? Peace and love to you too, beautiful. You thought about me today? Look, I'm outside. I'm out here. Now, some of you may have grown up, in a Christian family, Christian household, especially in the South, or Black or Latin families. It's not, unheard of. And it's also not unheard of if you don't feel, the moment that you don't feel that connection in the Christian community, and you want to do your own thing, you don't no longer want to partake. Now you're being ostracized. Now it's some, there's judgment. There's a lot of judgment with that. And this keeps our people in a stagnant place when it comes to truly tapping into our divine power. Okay? My African Americans, my Afro Latinos, y'all, I'm talking to y'all in here tonight. Okay? My indigenous people, I'm talking to y'all tonight. Because so many of us have been told this was wrong. Okay? It has disconnected us. We don't even know what to practice. There's a lot of confusion. Okay? There's lack of discipline. There's so much lack of discipline when it comes to serving a higher purpose. Okay? There's a lot of confusion because there's so many different beliefs. At the end of the day, we can all agree that there is a God. And I think that's the most important part. Because the Christianity that was given to us is our watered down African practices. And I keep telling y'all, and y'all didn't want to hear what I'm saying. See, Michael B. Jordan, okay, is a Babalawo. He has come out publicly saying that. He practiced Yoruba traditions, religious beliefs, okay? So he's connected in all of that. The characters that Michael B. Jordan portrayed, okay, as a single man, as an individual, Stack and Smoke, who, what's his name? Ryan Coogler, pardon me, has said that those characters are a depiction of the Yoruba twins, the I'm sorry, my throat chakra child, the Ibeji twins, if I'm saying it correctly. Okay, the Ibeji twins. They are children of Shango and Oshun, the first set of twins on Earth. Now, this is coming from Ryan Coogler. This is where the twins come from. Now, the male twin, his colors are red and white, and the female twin is blue and white in the Yoruba tradition. However, there's a light and dark side to everything, duality, and that's what his characters portrayed, okay? Duality. Even though both of them was on some gangster shit now. Both of them was on some gangster shit. But one was more logical. The other one was like, I'm going to get it by any means necessary. And I'm a slick talker. I'm handsome. I'm going to walk around with this big dick energy. And I'm going to get it. Okay? Then you have Smoke, you know what I'm saying? More analytical. He'll study you. He reads situations differently. He looks at things from a higher perspective because of the lady in his life. Now my Lord, let's talk about it. Let's talk about he who finds a wife has found a good thing and shall receive favor from the Lord, or something like that. I might be fucking it up, but y'all know where I'm at with it. He who finds a wife, a God-fearing wife. Now, see, Annie, okay? Annie is a herbal woman, a root worker, his wife. And she had created a mojo bag for him to protect him and his brother while they were out, sneaking and geeking. And I don't want to say necessarily say sneaking and geeking. I want to say they were on some, they wanted to get money. They wanted to open up their own juke joint where black people can come together after working 6 hard days a week, being field sharecroppers, to a space of their own where they could be themselves. They can, drink, dance, have fun, listen to music, and then, possibly go to church the next day. Now, when you're in these types of environments and listening to certain types of music, it is very important of the vibration that you're listening to them in, because back then they said that the blues was, the devil's music. Okay. It was very judged. It was judged heavily. Okay, and it was just basically stories of what our people was going through, different struggles in love, everyday life, but it was a connection. It was a vibration that connects us all. The drums, the strings, the horns. It invokes spirit. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Like, this is why in certain ceremonies and rituals, you need the drums, you need, the music. Now, speaking of music, another one of the main characters, Sammy, the young man who had the spiritual gift of music, very talented, full of light, and he was the conduit between both realms through that instrument. Okay, now we already know the devil was he orchestrated of music. Okay, he controls music, controls show business. This is why when they say, oh, some people will sell their soul to the devil. Okay, big Capricorn energy, entertainment. This is why some people say that. And his character was correlated with Robert Johnson, who was a known blues singer who allegedly sold his soul at the crossroads to a man in black who is Legba. In Hoodoo, Louisiana, people will call him Legba. The Yorubas will call him Ilegua. Okay. Now, everyone thinks that Alegua is demonic, and he's not. He's the one who holds the keys to the realms, okay, to the spiritual realm. He helps to clear your path, communication, things of that nature. Now, Sammy had to make a choice because his daddy told him, you leave this church. He's a church boy, pastor's boy. Now, if you leave this church and you go and play that devil's music, basically, like, you can't come back here. One day you going to leave this house and come back, and the devil's going to follow you home. Sammy left with his two uncles, okay? Left with his two uncles, and that was that. Or I'm sorry, I believe they were his cousins, his older cousins, because their daddies were brothers. Okay, so they were older. They promised to have him back in one piece or whatever. So they go off. They want to open up this juke joint, and they brought the property from a Klansman. Okay, and they had to basically show their force, their muscle, because growing up in them, in them times, Mississippi is known for sundowning towns, and that's a significance too, because vampires, they come out when at sundown. Don't let the sun down catch your black ass type energy, right? It just all makes sense. It's just so much in this movie. I don't even have time to fully go through everything. I'm just trying to hit major points at this moment. So Sammy is inspired by his two, his older cousins with, how they're living their life freely. Sammy is torn with having to be a preacher's boy, serving the matrix, what everyone else expects of him, or chasing his God-given talent, which is song, music. So he had to make a choice. His daddy told him, but he was so full of fire and passion, had to go. The twins, so full of fire and passion, they had to open the juke joint. I mean, Smoke went back to his wife, after not seeing her for some time, and that was my part too, because when they finally got together, child, and she leaned up on him and had to let him know, your body ain't forget me though. Child, that would talk about steamy shit. His body damn sure ain't forget her. Okay, no matter where he went, he could have went to the moon, child. When I be popping my shit in my readings, this is what I'm talking about. She could have went to the moon. He was gonna find it. His body responds to her because it's a divine connection between these two. I'm not gonna spoil too much of it, but there's sadness in their union, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, I ain't going to discuss everything, but there is sadness in their union to where Smoke questioned his faith. If this shit worked, because she made him mojo bags and everything. He was popping shit, talking about, yeah, well, if this shit worked, then, why didn't it do so and so and so and so? But at the end of the day, she responded she doesn't know, but it saves him and his brother from a lot of shit. So Mojo bags go way back, okay? Again, a lot of this is African traditions that we use. They in the Roman Catholic Church, the Ibeji twins that I spoke of, they are saints in the Bible. Okay, it's Cosmas and Damien, okay, who's dressed in red. Another significance, okay? So you got Stack who wears red, very bold, like big Shango energy, like he gives peacock feathers, bitch. He knows he looks good. He knows he's a slick talker, charmer. So there's a lot of color schemes. And then you got Smoke, who's in blue. Again, more cool, more laid back, more logical. You know what I'm saying? More clear headed with what their next moves should be. The perfect balance. Now, greed is very significant. The love for money, chasing a dream, and not recognizing that sometimes not all money is good money. Because there is an Asian couple too. If they would have just said no, things would have went a little different that night. Sammy find a little sweet thing at the train station where they run into Delroy Lindo, who plays Delta Slim, a blues singer who's an alcoholic. That Stack was able to bribe to play with him at the juke joint. He'll give him all the liquor he could drink, plus $40 for the night. All he wanted was more liquor. However, Sammy caught the eye of Pearline. Now, Pearline is a married woman. Pearline is a married woman. And Sammy is a young man. And he liked what he saw with Miss Pearline. And he knew she was a singer. So they had something in common. Stack was too busy trying to dip from this white girl that he was hunching on. But there was love there. But being back in them times down in Mississippi, that's a forbidden love. Okay. They grew up together. They knew the mom. Her moms had passed away or whatever. And she was heartbroken that they didn't send flowers for her. But Smoke made it very clear that they gave her flowers while she was living. So I say all that to say this. Stack was dealing with someone that he wasn't supposed to be dealing with. And it's just so crazy how that whole scandal with Shannon Sharpe is out now. And this man dealing with, a white woman in the South, you know what I'm saying, about dipping and dabbling in the snow. You know what I'm saying? Had he practiced more discipline in himself, he wouldn't have been in the situation he was in. And I always say this, my masculines and my feminines, y'all got to practice discipline. Being in certain places at certain times, indulging in certain things that can distract you and possibly put you in very tempting, compromising positions. Where are you supposed to be? How many times will I ask y'all that? Where are you supposed to be? I just kept thinking that the whole time in this movie. The whole time. Because it just seemed like everybody was everywhere they weren't fucking supposed to be. Now, Smoke then got his wife, Annie, the root woman, to do a big fish fry and talked her into cooking. Then everything was going so well. Until 3 white people pulled up after being yo, it's so much to talk about because at the beginning Native Americans pulled up on a white couple after Remick, the Irish vampire, entered their home. And this is why I say all the time in my readings, okay, a vampire cannot enter your home unless you invite them in. I've been saying this shit for years. Y'all don't understand how much this movie, it was like a weight being lifted off my chest. And you know what's so crazy? Because I was talking to my baby about it because it was a date night. It was man, go with y'all significant if you can. Okay? Take somebody, Lord. Take somebody to see this movie because it's so deep. They cannot come in unless you invite them. And that goes in so many, what you're feeding into, what you're entertaining. What are you giving your energy to? What are you accepting? Boundaries is so significant because it protects you from bullshit like this. Always saying yes. Always wanting to be accepted. Always wanting to, no. People pleasing. Hell no. This motherfucker showed up. He was all burnt up and everything. First of all, it's the daylight. It's the sun is setting. And the Indians pulled. They're like, yo, have anybody come in here? But they seen that they were Klansmen and still tried to help these people. And she had the shotgun at the Indians. He's like, you know what? One of them said, told him in his language, you see this motherfucking sun going down? He was like, yo, it's top. Do you see what's going on? We gotta leave them. You know he in there. They gonna find out. Child, every smiling face is not a friendly one. It's not a genuine one. It's some people's intentions are bad. You never know. Boundaries is important. Wearing amulets or things of protection is important. Cleansing y'all energy is important. Just see the goddamn movie to understand what I'm talking about. Like, it's so deep. And why gatekeeping in our culture is very important too. Gatekeeping, because when they pulled up the 3 vampires, they try to use that. He tried to use his little sob story about not necessarily being accepted in his town, and he's just a wanderer. Because they try to play on blacks' emotions, because we could be turn the cheek ass motherfuckers all the time. You know what I'm saying? Very, very. And that's the thing. That's who we are sometimes to a fault. Very compassionate and not on guard. So it's like he tried to use that, but the witch, she just knew them niggas was up to no, they was up to no good. Her discernment was so on point. Discernment. That intuition, she didn't get that in church. She got that from connecting to her ancestors and connected to God that way. Something in her was telling them, like, don't let these motherfuckers in. Tell them no, because if they see the wrong person, see them in here, it's gonna be some shit. Because again, you're in a town where the Klan is very much active. All right, so they're denied. White girl come in. She try, she's talking to Stack, trying to get in his head, like, you won't think about me, you ain't miss me, you ain't love me. And then he's telling, like, of course, he's like, what you want me to tell you? That I ain't love you and I ain't think about you all this time and da-da-da-da-da. So it's like, the love was there. Like, ma'am, you have a family. You have a husband, Miss Mary. Miss Mary, you got a husband and children. Why are you in the goddamn juke joint sweating all over this chocolate, man? Where are you supposed to be, Miss Mary? And I say this shit all the time in my readers. I couldn't be more vindicated as a spiritual practitioner. Coming from a spiritual practitioner, I couldn't feel more fucking vindicated watching this movie, because the truth is right there in plain sight. And I just love how they didn't like make the hoodoo part all like extra Hollywood. It was very simple. She just made some mojo bags, lit a candle, blue smoke, you know what I'm saying? And she knew about that motherfucking garlic. You know what I'm saying? But we have to learn that sometimes there's some things that we need to gatekeep, because they were able to transmute our African deities and make them Catholic saints, and then tell your black ass that it's demonic. So now you're disconnected from source. So when you see somebody like me trying to get you reconnected back to the source, you condemning me because you've been controlled by your oppressors for hundreds of years. When it comes to Christianity, they use that goddamn Bible to lynch us. Did you know that? They will have church on Sunday after reading the Bible. It will lynch your black ass after church. Swinging in trees, you'll be swinging in trees while they sitting up there having a picnic, because that's where picnic comes from. You will pick a nigga to hang. So y'all would listen to that type of guidance. But the moment you are told anything about your African roots, you piss on it. When it could save your life, it makes you more connected to source. Because what has been taught to us has been watered down in order to oppress and keep niggas in line. Fear. They made you fear your own magic. And now their descendants is up there on TikTok. Can you teach us hoodoo? Can you teach us how to do divination and da-da-da? I can't connect you to my what you call to my deities. Somebody might got smoke with you because of your lineage. You wouldn't want that. Certain things are supposed to be sacred. Initiations, shit like that are sacred. All right. Now, back to Delroy Lindo. Stop stuttering, baby. Thank you, beautiful. So with Delroy Lindo, he spoke on because Sammy wanted to know what the blues was because he swore he knew at such a young age, and Delroy laughed at him. Delta Slim laughed at him like you don't know nothing about the blues. So he told him a story about a friend of his who was lynched by the Klan, and they removed his manhood as a form of humiliation. And he just burst into song, to fight back that pain of telling that story. He just started singing, basically showing you what the blues really is, the struggle of seeing your friends and, family members that were taken unjustly just for the sake that they are descendants of slaves, black slaves. So that's what the blues was about. He schooled him, but it turned him into an alcoholic. All the pain, all the trauma turned him into an alcoholic, chasing a dream. But it was very hard to focus on the dream because of his intoxication, his vice. Okay. Anyway, Cornbread and his wife, the doorman. This is why it's very important too of the women you choose masculine. Okay. Cornbread's wife sat there and listened to her husband be disrespected by Slim because Slim needed, I'm sorry, not Slim, Stack. Stack wanted Cornbread to work the door for him. And he didn't want to. He was like, look, I'm making good money doing what I'm doing. I'm not trying to get in trouble with you niggas because they had a reputation. Okay? So, being that he didn't want to do that, his wife is overhearing. He's like, listen, I'll give you money. I'm going to pay you good. I'm going to give you enough money to where your wife is going to want you to really put it on and none of that slow loving, And he was like, what the fuck you say about my wife? Being very defensive. He was like, he was like, yeah, she might even put it in her mouth type shit. He was like, what? And the wife was like, hold on, Cornbread. Like, how much money we talking about? Excuse me, ma'am. Your husband is about to fight in your honor because this slick talking nigga over here is being disrespectful. You gonna ask him how much money is he talking? You see, that's what I'm saying. Y'all was like, you gotta be very careful. Not all money is good money. Okay? Hold on, y'all, because I gotta get rid of I gotta get rid of somebody. And put your ass in timeout. Like, hide user on this account. Goodbye. Yeah, I don't got time for that shit, y'all. But long story short, nobody was where they were supposed to be. The power of music is very significant. Be mindful of the frequencies and vibrations that y'all listen to. That's why me personally, I listen to certain music because the type of the music nowadays is very dark. Like it invokes certain entities. You got to be mindful what you're listening to. Okay. Sammy eventually chose to serve in his purpose with song. Okay. And I also just found out that those markings, yes, it came from the fight with him and Remick, who was very persuasive. Persuade people, it's so much nicer here and da 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 da. Like, child, this is why I'm saying with the devil energy, it is very slick, very tempting, but where you fucking supposed to be, where you supposed to be. If everybody was where they were supposed to be, none of it would have happened. And everybody was warned. Okay. Everybody was warned, but those markings on his face at the end of the movie, they have a Yoruba significance. Those are tribal markings from Nigeria. So, Ryan Coogler did his fucking thing with this movie. Okay. I really don't want to spend too much time in spoiling too much. It's just that I just wanted to give my thoughts of the movie and how powerful it is and how even now to this day we still shun African spirituality, and it helped free a lot of our people. It helped to liberate so many of us. It saves people, it protects husbands, it protects wives, it protects children, it keeps you grounded. Okay. It's nothing demonic about it. People all on social media saying, if you're a Christian, you should see this movie because it's like, what? And that's another thing. When I tell y'all that there's more demons in that church than what y'all think of us in the spiritual realm, Remick and Sammy was in that water. Remick was in there giving him a demonic baptism. That's what it looked like to me, the way he was dunking his fucking ass in that water. Okay? And then Sammy started saying the Our Father. Bitch, do you know Remick and the rest of them damn vampires that was all in the juke joint? Okay? All the motherfuckers that was in the juke joint that turned into vampires, do you know they all started saying Our Father as well? See, I can't make it up. I cannot make this shit up if I wanted to. When I tell you, demons and the devil, they know that Bible inside and out. They know. You have to study your opposer. And this is why we trying to tell y'all need to get tapped in, get closer to God, do more research on this. You can't just go off of what people tell you, how you supposed to connect to God. But I promise you, the significance of that movie when it comes to you chasing your purpose, your passion, as opposed to just getting in line, is so strong. Because so many of us are at that age now where it's like so many of us, I'm telling you, I sit with y'all. I sit with so many and it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be this no more. I don't want to be that anymore. I want to do this and I'd rather do that. What are you passionate about? What are you good at? What the God put you here to do? Just recognize that all money ain't good money. Every smiling face ain't a loving face. Stop letting niggas in your house. Okay? Stop letting that. See, no. You can't. Listen. Y'all gotta protect y'all threshold. You better get yourself a witch broom. Put that shit by y'all door. Okay? Put salt in the corners. Okay? Dead sea salt in the corners or whatever the fuck y'all gotta do to protect your home. Black salt, that's another powerful tool. It's all shit that you got in your kitchen right now that you could use to protect your house. But like these Christians tell you, oh, it's demonic. But mind you, when they would get sick, their grandma would go in that kitchen and whip something up real quick and give it to them while they praying. But that's not witchcraft. I just think a lot of us have been misdirected and misguided. And that movie, Sinners, has a very deep, deep significance that every last one of you will be able to relate to. I can't wait to see it again. I cannot wait to see it again because I know it's some shit in there that I missed, okay? I knew it was some shit in there that I missed. However, I know what I didn't forget. Where are you supposed to be? Where are you supposed to be, baby? Okay? Because Miss Mary and Pearline, y'all had husbands at home. And y'all done fucked around chasing dick all night. You done fucked around and woke up dead. And you know, when I say it, if you don't do X, Y, if you don't get your shit in alignment, if you don't do this, you gonna fuck around and wake up dead. Okay, this is what I mean. All praise is due to the Most High, because let me tell you what, I pray that this movie, you know, help awaken so many people. Okay, may God continue to bless Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler on their future endeavors, especially with creating film for us to also relate to. Okay, that shit was groundbreaking. It was phenomenal. I heard a lot of people up and left because, you know, they don't like to be looked at in a certain light. When that history comes on in front of their face, you know, that wasn't us. That was our ancestors. But y'all still carrying that same type of time right now. So it's like, you know, I don't know, y'all. I'm just going to tell y'all, listen, you see what's going on with Shannon Sharp. Okay, how many lessons do you niggas need? Like, I don't understand. You know, maybe this movie will help you. And yes, sometimes it's okay to say no to somebody that just, you know, trying to jump your bones, because you never know, they might try to sink their teeth in or some shit, bitch. You got discipline. Where you supposed to be? Follow your passion and purpose. Pray. Meditate. Protect your energy. Say no. Say fuck no. Okay? Where the fuck you supposed to be? Alright? And go for it. Be yourself unapologetically. Because what's for you will always be for you. Sometimes being too ambitious can misguide us because we're not truly surrendering to the divine that way. There are signs, there are warning signs, there are so many different things that show us maybe this isn't the way, but we be so, like, you know, ambitious to get shit done, it can wind up hurting us in the long run. So sometimes you just gotta surrender to things that you cannot control. Okay, stay prayed up. Keep your houses cleansed, okay, and get rid of them fucking welcome mats. See, I had to stop and think. I was like, yo, because I've heard that before, and I had said to my master, and I was like, I had to stop and think. I was like, I know my welcome mat don't say welcome on it. I was like, does it? So when I came home, it says hello. I was like, oh, because I know I didn't get a welcome mat. But get rid of them fucking welcome mats too, because, bitch, this ain't a fucking soup kitchen. Okay? I'll see y'all on TikTok. Peace.